Look at the options being put out there. Swiss, Norwegian, Turkish. I think because Britain's economy is bigger than all of those economies combined, and because the French farmers, German car manufacturers sell a 68 billion pounds more each year than we sell them, we're very well placed, and mutual self-interest suggests we'd cut a very good deal, and it's certainly not in the Europeans' interest to erect trade barriers.
We want a thriving trade and economic relationship with the EU.
Brexit was almost like being promised Aladdin's cave. We were promised that we were going to gain our independence, and at the same time gain masses of wealth and riches beyond our dream. We were going to go beyond being in the top 6, possibly even into the top 1 by free trade. However, reality came to bite back, and we've now gone into the cave, and we found there's absolutely nothing there. It's literally Jafar selling us a complete and utter falsehood of what was promised. Or you could compare it to the Matrix, and it's Morpheus selling us a product.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Except Morpheus doesn't then tell you the next part, which is really crucial.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
But we weren't offered the truth. We were offered this.
I'm the magical man from Happy Land in a gumdrop house on Lollipop Lane.
And I have no doubt that in either case, the UK will prosper mightily. There is no reason why we cannot do much, much better. This is a moment for us to go up a gear again.
Go up another gear, huh? The UK is the only country in northwest Europe to have suffered a decline from exports since Brexit. Both from the House of Commons and the IMF has shown that every neighbouring European country has increased its exports over the past 5 years except the UK. Ireland 48.1%, Finland 18.8%, Sweden 15.5%, the Netherlands 15%, Denmark 14%. The list goes on. Even Slovakia, who had separated from the Czech Republic and joined the EU, have increased. When you take into account the impact of COVID-19, the figures compared from 2020 to present, the UK has the worst decline in exports of any country in Northwest Europe by minus 19.3%. And this is why I included Dominic Raab's comment at the beginning. It's because we have erected trade barriers. We had this arrogance being sold to the public that no trade barriers would ever exist. They do. Shock. The EU protects itself. They've done it before.
And it also, I think, is instructive for today. In September 1992, I was sitting in Chancellor Kohl's office the day the UK dropped out of the exchange rate mechanism. Okay? This was an accident of history that I happened to be there. It had no effect on anything, I can assure you, but I was there. Kohl, like Merkel now, is about German self-interest. They may like the automakers, they may like the ideal of Europe, and as David has argued, they view that as in Germany's enlightened self-interest. But they are not going to just roll over for this, that, or the other, as has been seen repeatedly throughout the European crisis. The Germans, chancellors, fight pretty hard for German interest. And Helmut Kohl was perfectly content to watch the UK go bye-bye. That was a call from John Major. He left the room. He came back in the room, offered me a piece of cake. Kohl, like me, was a little overweight. And I said, well, you know, what? And he's like, no, it's up to Britain. They want out, they get out. That was September 92, the exchange rate mechanism. So don't overdo the idea that Chancellor Merkel or the Germans or the Europeans are going to be cowed because a few German auto workers may be out of work. Remember, 18,000 employees is 1/20 of 1% of the German workforce.
So, we've now seen 50 shops a day disappearing from our high streets because we can't export, we don't have investment coming in. NHS blood tube shortages, food shortages from Nando's, McDonald's, Greggs, KFC. Winter flu jabs are now facing disruption, and it's only going to get worse. Even IKEA is facing problems in its production lines. This is all being caused by a UK driver shortage. We haven't got enough drivers coming into the UK from the EU. And the UK government seems to think that the only solution is to train up UK drivers. Well, that can take up to 6 months. That's not going to get us sorted by Christmas, and we're now at the crucial point where we need to be recruiting more drivers. That also means that wages are going to have to be pushed up, and the actual living and working conditions are going to have to be improved for all those drivers. That is a huge logistical operation, and guess what? That's going to increase food prices. When you're in a recession, which we are in one of the worst recessions in history, you need to try and keep certain things cheap so that money can be invested elsewhere. But we have other problems, and it's a coincidence that we're talking about investment. Because one of the other things you need for your country to succeed is foreign investment. And ever since Brexit, it has been declining. And it's been declining in key areas such as business and consumer services, automotive industries, software and computer designs, engineering, financial services, environmental, infrastructure and transport, food and drink, electronics and communications. And guess where we have shortages according to the government? We have it in scientists, artists, health services, engineers, design and development, IT, vets and hospitality. And guess what? That all correlates with the lack of investment. The UK economy is being slaughtered by Brexit. We have got a reduction in exported goods, especially within the food industry, especially from the EU, where we're seeing a huge decline in exports and imports, which is going to hammer our economy. We haven't even got to October when new regulations kick in for imports. And we see this trend globally. Interestingly, we do see an increase in non-EU trade, but look how much trade we've lost with our partners and neighbours, the EU. It is a far more significant drop in EU trade, which is who you standardly trade with. Historic ties and geographical ties are more important than trade than anything else. It is not made up for the loss of trade with the EU. But then I found this. Germany has increased its trade presence in China more than the UK, and Germany is inside the EU. All this moaning and complaining coming from Brexiteers about the controlling nature of the EU is complete nonsense. Germany's increased its trade presence in China more than the UK has. Instead of all this arguing and bickering and having a divorce, we could have actually just been focused on trade.
We want a thriving trade and economic relationship with the EU.
Well, we don't have a thriving trade with the EU. We have a declining trade with the EU, and non-EU countries aren't making up that deficit. We were promised a land full of abundance, streets paved with gold, doctors, nurses able to see us finally. What you're seeing in front of you is a piece of crap advert created during the Brexit campaign by the Vote Leave campaign, showing life inside the EU and life outside the EU. Well, how about that for a complete spin around? At present, you can't get blood tests. At present, you can't even get a flu jab. You're being turned away because we're outside the EU. There are no happy faces. In fact, this advert is diabolical in its predictions of what it was going to be like. It is complete and utter crap. We were promised gold, and all we've got is a bucket of Brexit. So what do you think so far? Is it actually going as planned? Am I exaggerating the problems? Have you been affected by any of this? I personally have, because I'm aware of people being turned away for blood tests and flu jabs, unless it's an emergency, of course. I hope you enjoyed my political observations this week. If you'd like to support me, please share the video with others and post about it on social media. If you're keen for more, subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification button. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on Political X.